You just got back from quite a tricky tour of New Zealand. Overseas tours for England in recent years have been very difficult. We've been so dominant in one-day cricket. But what's going on with Test cricket? Is there a problem with too many of our players being brilliant at one format of the game and finding it hard to then adjust back to Test cricket? Is it as simple as that?
No, I don't think so. I think, you know, our overseas record hasn't been great of late. And I think, you know, it's such different conditions to what we play in England. It's sort of really about us trying to find out and adapt to what, you know, the best method for us to work as a team to win is at the moment. You know, we're going through a sort of period at the moment where, not a transition period, but we're sort of picking different players and stuff like that. So we really want to be able to get, you know, like a solid squad selection, so then we can build and really understand what sort of the identity is in our Test side. You've
had this ridiculous year where you won the World Cup and pretty much on your own. I mean, you had help, but it was extraordinary innings you played that day. And then, of course, the Super Over and so on. Then, to me, the greatest things I've ever seen, which was this Test match innings at Headingley, which was... I watched it on a boat in the south of France with my sons, and we went nuts. Never seen anything like it. When you look back on the year, because you got Sports Personality of the Year on Sunday, and you're a red-hot favourite to win it, and I hope you do, what's your overview of this year for you? Warts and all, good and bad.
I don't know, really. I mean, you know, the summer has been, you know, unbelievable.
I've got to say, as a cricket purist, as someone who loves Test cricket above all else, that innings you played in the Ashes, to me, even eclipsed the World Cup, because it was so unlikely. There was no way we should have won from that position. And you had your wingman, who was even more unlikely, Mr. Leach. And there you were, and you somehow pulled it off. To me, I preferred that. If I could watch one thing again, it would be that innings.
Yeah, I've been asked a few times about which one, you know, is better, and, you know, I can't really choose between
them. If you could relive one of them again, which one would you do?
I couldn't pick. I couldn't
pick. Get off the fence.
I can't.
You're a straight talker.
I'm sat on that fence.
What's so remarkable about you is that you've had this extraordinary success. I mean, as you say, absolutely sort of iconic moments this year. On Sunday, you could win BBC Sports Personality of the Year, and I think you're far and away the favourite. But you have a very measured tone to you. You have a very sort of low-key approach. I wonder whether that's sort of essential for being able to be as successful as you are. Do you have to manage highs and lows?
Yeah, I think not when you're just in sport, but I think, you know, in work, really, you know, there's always going to be highs and lows in whatever you do. And I've, you know, as I've got older, especially over the last 3-4 years, been able to deal with, you know, success and failure in the same way, which is just sort of try and get over them as quickly as possible, because, you know, you've always got a game around the corner, you know, in 3-4 days' time starting. So, you know, you can't live off the back of, you know, being successful in the next game, and you also can't take, you know, failures into the next game, because then, you know, it's just not going to work.
You've become one of the most famous people in the country. That can have a dramatic effect.
Yes.
And we know you've had some downside with that, with press attention that you've taken great exception to. You've had incidents before this glorious year, which we all know about, which were, you know, negative. You're now in that position now where you're a star, not just a cricketer. How have you dealt with that? How do you cope with that new attention?
I don't know. I've still been the same. You know, just sort of live, you know, the same type of life. You know, I won't, you know, especially in downtime when you've got time off and stuff like that. You know, being at home and stuff like that, and you know, friends and family and stuff like that is time that you don't get that often. So
you love being on that mower in your garden, don't you?
I love that. I was on it yesterday. It was freezing cold, though.
You get on your Insta story, there you are, mowing. Do you find it peaceful, mowing?
Yeah, I found golf and doing that when I'm home is sort of the...
But on the mowing, is it doing the straight lines that gets your... What is it that you love about it?
I don't know. It's just peaceful. Just peaceful. You look back behind you and you can see the grass that's been cut.
And are you very precise? I mean...
Not really.
No?
Did you think you'd spend a lot of this interview talking about a mower?
No, I didn't think that's what we're in for.
Do you know what? I'll tell you what, talking about fame, your heroics have inspired a couple of superfans. They made a bold promise.
This is funny.
Jonathan Lamley posted to his Facebook page, if England scored the 359 runs required to win against Australia in the third Ashes test, he would do his local park run, which is the 5K run on a Saturday morning in your local park, but he would do it just in his pants and flip-flops. It has a sort of Gary Lineker sort of feel about it, and he and his friend Mike McDonald have kept their word, and they join us now from Nottingham. You crazy guys, Jonathan and Mike. Oh, there we go. What would you like to say to Ben Stokes about the way he's inspired you?
Go on.
Well, I mean, what a performance in the Ashes. What an absolutely brilliant performance in the Ashes and in the World Cup. Just amazing. And inspired us to we've raised nearly £2,200 already for Alzheimer's research on the back of this.
Brilliant.
And how was it when you did that run in your pants and your flip-flops?
It was cold, it was uncomfortable, but we got round. Our feet are a bit sore, aren't they, Mike?
Yeah, I've still got my plasters on my feet from running round. Yeah, they cut in after about a kilometre.
OK.
And it really hurt. And but the adrenaline took us round, but it was worth it.
And all down to Ben Stokes. So they've been inspired by you, Ben, to do something utterly crazy. I just want to talk about some of your inspirations. A lot is said about your dad and his influence, but your mum has had a massive impact, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think, you know, growing up in, you know, Cumbria as well, where, you know, you don't necessarily have the money where, you know, especially in cricket, to sort of have the facilities and stuff like that.
She continued to play cricket when she was pregnant with you.
She did. You know, Dad will try and take the claim for passing on the cricket genes.
I interviewed Cristiano Ronaldo recently, and he has an extraordinary work ethic. And he says to get from a really good sportsman to greatness, that's what you have to have. You have to work harder.
You have to have grit.
Than everyone else. And I've interviewed Michael Phelps before, the swimmer, same thing. Your reputation with the England team is you're the hardest trainer. You're the kind of guy who does 8 hours in the field and then in Sri Lanka in 40 degrees, and you'll then go and do an hour in the gym. Do you have that motivating drive that those guys have to be not just a very good cricketer, but one of the all-time greats?
I wouldn't say that's, I'm just trying to get the best out of me as I possibly can. And I think, there's a lot said about that, but, Joss Buttler was really the person who we all looked at, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when everyone was like, oh, this guy's training really hard. And then you look at the year he had back then, and he was just scoring runs, for fun, making the game look seriously easy. So he was the person who really started driving me towards doing that and trying to get the best out of myself and not letting the team down due to fitness levels. And I think, especially the last summer, everyone sort of bought into that, and it's really good to see that everyone's trying to get the best out of themselves that they possibly can.
When you won the World Cup, I was there. It was incredible. You've said before that you felt like you owed it to the team. You'd been out of the team. You'd caused problems, clearly, with off-the-field stuff. There was a bit of that going on as well, that you felt like you had to win this to give back to your teammates. Yeah,
at the end of the day, the team's the most important thing with me and within our sport and everyone in the team. So, not only was it a tough time for me, it was also a tough time for the team back then. Whenever they were in press conferences getting asked about what was going on, I came up. So, I know it was tough on them and other people as well. So, all you want to do is win for the people who put as much effort in as you do. And it's a great thing about team sports, that you get to share those moments with 15 other players and other backroom staff.
One of the greats of English cricket, Bob Willis, very sadly died last week.
His commentary and the way he was on the debate was liked or not, but to see all the people who grew up who played cricket with him and knew him for the real Bob Willis, showed how much of a likeable person he was, and it's a shame that we didn't get to see the true Bob Willis that these guys did. You know, the amount of you know, praise that he got from everyone was...
It was an
really
amazing
wonderful to see.
outpouring. I mean, I had a few great times with Bob, normally with Ian, both of them. I know you know very
Long
well.
lunches.
Long lunches. He was hilarious.
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious, but also incredibly loyal guy, actually. And he just believed... He and I were talking about our relative styles on air, and he was saying, you know, better out than in, Piers. You've got something to say it. And I like that about him. As a fan, I like watching his commentary because he just said what he thought.
Yeah, well, Bob never sat on the fence.
No.
Which,
Oh, you share that quality.
Yeah.
no.
Listen, we need you to win on Sunday. So everyone out there, get voting for Ben Stokes. If he doesn't win Sportsman of the Year after this year, there is no justice in the world.
And would you like to say Happy Christmas to Mike and Jonathan, your fans who did the park run in their pants? I'm sure they'd love to hear from you.
Oh, well, they need more than Merry Christmas. They need a well done and for everything that they did there. You know, I was pretty surprised at what they managed to do, but good on you and good on you for sticking for your word.
Yeah.
Great.
Well done, lads. Great effort. If you're going to make a
Cheers,
pledge
Ben,
like
so
that and you then go through with it, good credit to you guys.
Yeah.
But let's get voting for Ben Stokes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
BBC Sports Personality of the Year went to Freddie Flintoff, last cricketer to win it. Ian Botham before that.
He's on fire, and that is the name of your
Yeah.
autobiography, and that would make
Cracking
a very
read,
nice
actually. Really interesting
Christmas
read. Interesting
present for
story.
the cricket
interesting
fan in
read.
your life.
Yeah.
There we go. Happy Christmas.
Thank you.